This was a great tin cup.
Hey everybody, welcome to Making Sense of It All. I have the Tin Cup Club joining me today. Chris Blakely, thank you so much for joining me.
Happy to be back.
Wes, always a pleasure.
The pleasure is mine, my man.
Michael Shelton, thank you once again.
It would be more fun if I had the trophy that you have right now, but thank you for having me.
And Mike Padron, I was just about to ask you, who won Tin Cup this year?
Yes, sir. Team Europe won fourth in a row. So it looks like Tin Cup's just going to be streaky. It'll be 3-4 for USA, then 3-4 for Europe, and it's just unlike the actual Ryder Cup, I guess.
You don't really have to mention what the U.S. did like 10 years ago. I mean, we're living in the now.
That's true. That's all that matters. What have you done for me lately, I guess?
Shelton, I'm going to give you a chance to just express your feelings about that.
I don't like the losing streak, but I think the mission of this trip has been accomplished, getting this group of guys together. Doesn't matter the venue, doesn't matter the place, getting together, the competition, but just really hanging out with each other. So, I mean, win or lose, it is still a good trip and still what I'm looking forward to for next year.
That's a hell of a participation trophy answer right there. I like it a lot. Hey, I got a guy that's actually on our team that would be absolutely willing to give you lessons. He is not that far down the street from you. I want to say this up front. Wes Altus is now teaching at St. John's Golf and Country Club in Jacksonville, Florida. Congratulations, Wes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you. It's a nice change of pace. We got a great practice facility, got some awesome junior programs going on. I actually just came in hot from being out on the course with some of the kids. So it's a great change of pace. I'm going to really offer some more options for my students. So more good things to come.
You actually get to teach on real grass now.
Yeah, it's a shocker. No more mats.
I'm not sure if those greens are grass right now.
No, they're not. They're like 13 or 14 on the stump, but yeah.
Blakely, you were also on the wrong end of this stick that you got taken to task with this past couple of weekends ago. How did that feel to you?
Well, I hated it. Participation trophies. I think we went out there and we got way too far behind the second day. And it's hard to come back from that on the third day with such a big gap. But hey, my hat's off to you. You won again.
Hey, what's funny is like I see, there's a couple of guys, a guy named Kevin Gales that's up there in Atlanta. He's already bought himself a new putter. I think he's already getting ready for next year.
Oh yeah. No, I mean the grind doesn't stop with this fella.
So let's jump right into it, guys. Let's see what you drinking. We'll go around the horn. Padron, what do you got?
I've got a little smoke wagon from Las Vegas.
From Nevada. I got that up on the shelf.
Nice.
It is very, very good. It's high proof, which is fine with me. But it's excellent bourbon.
Very cool. Sheldon, what do you got?
I guess since we need to show the bottle, I have a little Jefferson's Reserve Twin Oak Custom Barrel. It says very rare, which I doubt because I have it. It is quite tasty.
Altus.
Well, I'm actually drinking a bottle of the Old Forester that Jesse was so kindly to gift to me as my winning prize from our little bet from the match with Scheffler and McLemore. Yeah, very tasty. Great choice.
Old Forester 1910. It's one of my favorite bottles of bourbon. Blakely, what you got?
I've got Eagle Rare, the 10.
Yeah.
Cool drinker. I like it.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
I have departed from my world journey and I am back into Kentucky. I am drinking Angel's Envy today. So cheers.
There you go. Cheers. Was that Turkish one? Wasn't that the Turkish one you were talking about? Is it turkey?
Hey, just so you know, before we started this, I had a drink in my hands from New Zealand. It was a single malt from New Zealand, and it tasted like pure rubbing alcohol. I was like, I've got to retreat to the United States for this. I cannot drink this.
Yeah, come back to us.
I can't believe none of us got a Chattanooga whiskey to drink tonight.
I think we killed a
Uh,
bottle that
yeah.
weekend. So
I had one in the office. I don't.
I have 2 bottles of Tennessee, but one was in Columbia, Tennessee, and one was in Nashville, so I didn't feel comfortable breaking that out and disrupting the Chattanooga bourbon.
I thought it was pretty good. I bought a bottle
Yeah.
for the house. I don't know how many people got to try it, but I thought it was. I didn't think it was bad at all.
It was very good. The airport
It was
had
very
like 1,000 bottles of it.
Of course they did. So along those lines, McLemore, that's where we were at. I'll throw it around. Blakely, what'd you think of McLemore?
Well, I mean, I thought it was a pretty neat place. You're up there in the middle of nowhere, and you were on top of a mountain. The views on all the holes
Foothills.
were awesome. Especially at the keep, you really couldn't beat that. The facilities that they had at the main course at the Highlands, with the driving range right there, it had a nice little clubhouse and area to eat. And then I like the little tiny par 3 they had. Um, I thought that the layout, and I know I'm a big layout guy. I thought the layout was pretty cool. It was fun. The first maybe half of the first 7 or 6 holes on the Highlands they're all blind shots. Makes it kind of difficult when it's your first time out there playing. A little bit frustrated by that. And then we came right after a big rain. It's still early in April. I felt like the grass at the Highlands just wasn't grown in. And I think could have had a better round if it was later in the year and everything looked a little better. Maybe the drainage was better. But that's the only bad things I really have to say about it. I thought I really like that. The Keep, I think that's going to be an amazing course in a couple of years. It's so open. Every shot is picturesque, and it's really fun. The greens out there are rolling fast and true, and it was a great day walking. Even if we had to walk 36 with the boys, it was a good time. I like it.
Right? Padron, what'd you think?
I mean, I'm kind of in agreement with him on this one. The Highlands was for something we're used to down here in Florida. We don't get any of that. We get no elevation. We get absolutely nothing. That first tee shot, you're going straight down the hill, and it's just a beautiful view. And then on that first green was what really surprised me. I wasn't thinking we're going to get really good views until we kind of got it back out to like 17, 18 in that area. But man, we stood on that first green and I looked over my shoulder. I'm like, holy cow, you're just looking straight down into that valley. And it was gorgeous, man. It kind of blew me away. And then just the way the layout was, I get the whole, there's one hole, I believe it's 6, par 5 with the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a goofy golf hole. I mean, it says 313 to the ravine and we're hitting hybrids and they're gone. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Then you have a completely blind second shot going down. What do you think is that? 500 feet at least? It was just a crazy, crazy hole. And then I was blown away when we drove over. So the thing you don't realize when we had heard a little bit about it, but you got to get on a shuttle and drive over to the Keep. It's probably 2-3 mile drive. You're there in probably 5 minutes, and you go back a little windy road, and it is as soon as you pull on that property, it's blown away. You're like, oh man, this is gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
We got the pleasure, a few of us, of playing Sheep Ranch out in Bandon, and it is, to me, it reminded me as soon as we pulled in of Sheep Ranch, but instead of an ocean, it's cliffs and a valley. But it is very similar kind of layout. You're seeing a bunch of holes at once. You see people playing all over the place. You're not going to get in too much trouble, especially with the free relief, apparently, that the local rule there. But I was blown away by the Keep. I think, like Blakely said, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And you can see some of the grass hadn't grown in yet, but the greens were in excellent shape. And it absolutely blew me away. I could play that one every single. I could do without playing the Highlands next time I go, and I would just play the Keep on maybe not 36 in a day, but I'm gonna play that quite a bit next time I go that way.
Yeah. Shelton, what about you?
I think the Highlands course, I mean, it's a nice little layout. It's something different for us. It's obviously what put McLemore on the map. I mean, probably hole number 18 in itself. But again, like we were early in the year, a lot of rain. We had a 10, 15-minute hailstorm out of nowhere on the mountain. It was car path only, and with all those shots, it's not much of a resort course. Like you think resort courses open, so many blind shots. I mean, it's really difficult. But obviously, you got to give it credit because it's what put it on the map. What they have in the keep could be special. Like you said, with the very Bandon-esque, I think what the opportunity they have there is they learn from what they have now. It could be one of the top courses I've played. We've talked about our top courses each time, and I would definitely put it up there. Going back to Padron's point about the free relief, right? We're still under preview play. So they're still working out a lot of the kinks for that. It's not supposed to be open for a few months. And I was talking to one of the head guys as we were waiting in between rounds, and he was kind of giving the pros and cons. He's like, yeah, the Highlands course, like if you come back in May, June, once all the grass grows in, he's like, you will have a totally different experience. And then again, they're still trying to play with that keep. But I think, like Padron said, the layout of the keep, the walkability of it, I think they have something special in their hands.
Nice. And I intentionally left you last, Wes.
Yeah. So I'm just putting on my been in the business for so long hat when I'm looking at this. The keep, I mean, you guys have said enough. That place was absolutely spectacular. I would play there probably every single round. Highlands, it's what's the nice way? It's golden tee golf is the way I like to describe it. You got blind shots, you can knock it off rocks and crap, and it is what it is. The views were spectacular. I also give kudos to the guys over at the Keep. They're working out of a trailer, but as soon as we came off the bus, we were greeted. Our caddies were there kind of waiting for us. So that was a nice experience. I feel like we didn't get that when we went over to Highlands. It was kind of like, yeah, you guys are here, and that was kind of it. Felt like we were in the way a little bit there. The restaurant we ate opening night, spectacular. What was it, the pork burnt ends?
Yeah,
absolutely.
They were not bad.
Oh my
delicious.
God. Like you could order like 2 or 3 plates of those and you'd just be good. But yeah, I mean, I understand why the Highlands is, touted those views. I mean, some of the best you'll see outside of what's on the Keep. But yeah, if I had 5 rounds, I'd play 4.5 of them at the Keep. For reasons I won't get into, just some inconsistencies. And yeah, that's kind of my toned down version of it.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting because I shared it with you guys. You knew I had been up to the Highlands course once before. When they had first opened, they did the Friends of McLemore invite that they did on Facebook, and me and my wife were going to Nashville. So we stopped on the way to Nashville, and I got to play the course. I think Golden Tee Golf is a great way to put it, because it's like, I mean, for somebody who's out there looking for something beautiful, like, a walk in nature. I mean, it's all you could ask for. I mean, it's a beautiful venue. It's a gorgeous neighborhood. You've got, elevated tee shots. You've got, vistas as far as the eye can see over the valley. Like, I mean, like there's a lot to offer if you're looking for just an enjoyable walk in nature and playing golf while you're doing it. If you're looking at the specifics, as you've mentioned, Wes, I mean, like there's certain things about the course that are maybe inconsistent. There's some there's some things that I think that they could probably fix around the course that would probably make it a lot more enjoyable of a round of golf. But I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a whole lot of people that if you said, "Hey, it's Golden Tee Golf," it kind of excites them. I mean, they want to. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's and I'd be a liar to say, like, I mean, that's kind of like Wolf Creek out in Vegas. I mean, you want to talk about Golden Tee Golf? That's what it is. I mean, you're playing a video game essentially on turf. I would say the same thing. The Keep to me was, I mean, it was a fantastic golf course. I think we're seeing it. I mean, you could see all the sod that's been laid. They had a really harsh winter, so a lot of the sod didn't take. So we're getting it in its infancy. But the course, I mean, the layout of the course is awesome. I mean, like I'd love to play it in 5 years and just see what it looks like in 5 years.
And now, what's cool too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say what's cool about the Keep too, and he kind of hit the nail on the head there with the service. I felt like we were at a different resort.
Yeah.
And we pulled up, They, like you said, they greeted us. Caddies were there. The inside in the little trailer, they had their own little kind of pro shop, quote unquote. The guy behind the counter was amazing with us, making sure we had everything we needed. They had two girls out on the cart the whole time, but after nine, because you don't finish nine back at the front, you kind of finish out by the cliffs, and you don't really come back until about 14. They had another trailer there with a couple tables. They had you got free drinks, not alcohol, because that would have been terrible. Free Gatorade, free water, and then they had complimentary, what was it, pimento cheese, chicken salad, or what was the third one?
Egg salad.
Egg salad. The egg salad was insane.
Yep.
So you go in there and say, I want an egg salad. I want one of each. And they'll give you 3 sandwiches and you go on your way. You get all the snacks you want. Which was really cool because it is inconvenient to be out there because there's nothing else out there. So for them to offer that to us and to anybody that plays out there was actually really, really cool. The service there it was like you're in a completely different world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, the hospitality on the keep, my last round there was not necessarily the best.
He just wasn't your caddy, man. If you'd have just left him alone.
Not that I can take responsibility for that, but
No.
19, I'd say we did a pretty good job.
yeah.
In all fairness, he hit the wrong ball. In all fairness.
But for opposing player's caddy to accuse Jesse on the other team of picking up a ball and putting it in his pocket, that's bold, man. That is very, very bold. And I think
where you're supposed to be.
now when we played, I get it. Like if we played band and we had the same caddies for 4 days, 5 days. At the end of the 5th day, if something like that happened and Wes's caddy would have turned to me and be like, "Hey, dude, you just put that in your pocket," I'd have just laughed it off. But man, you've only known the guy for what, 8 holes, and he all of a sudden starts talking shit to you. I'm like, oh man, all right.
Well, in all fairness, we're playing a competition, and this dude really took it to heart that he was on Team USA. I mean, he decided he was part of the team, and he was fighting everywhere he could to try to give his player an edge. And I mean, I got to salute him for that too. So I mean, if I look at it from that direction, he was doing his job. I hope Gels tipped him well.
I was gonna say this is probably because Gales paid him $100 to just cause some controversy or something. Wouldn't have embarrassed the guy.
So, all kidding aside, though, and I know we've kind of mentioned it, but Padron, you were the one who did a lot of the legwork on this. As far as typically you and Shelton do it together, but Shelton had a lot of work commitments, and so I know that you did a lot of the liaisoning between McLemore and our group. Overall, your thoughts on the hospitality, on the whole experience with them? What were your thoughts?
Well, I was kind of a unique situation because I always book, like we already booked next year. So we're a year out on some of these because you kind of have to be. And McLemore, I think Shelton and I were talking one day. I don't know if we were having wine or something. I don't know what he was like. Have we even looked into McLemore? I'm like, it's probably going to be too expensive. Like, there's no way. And I called and it was actually very reasonably priced where I called him right away and said, we need to book this. This is a steal. And they got a second course coming up, this and that. Booked it. That was easy. That was one of the easiest bookings we've done. And we were dealing with one guy, and I think where a lot of it for me changed was we dealt with this guy for basically 11 months. And 1 month before, maybe even 3 weeks before Tin Cup, I get an email from him saying, "Hey, I'm leaving for another job." And I'm like, "Man, I've been talking to you for 11 months. I get it. I mean, these guys probably come and go all the time." So it kind of changed. I had to be switched to another guy who didn't really know me, didn't know the story, didn't know what we do. So it was kind of like starting all over 3 weeks in or 3 weeks away. And I think the overall experience was great. Like Wes said, the one thing that they did not do that I think other resorts have done is, I mean, I've been there where the minute I step out of my car, there's somebody there being like, "Mr. Padron or Mike, are you with Tin Cup?" "Yes, sir." Like, "Hey," and they shake your hand. This is the house. This is where these guys are staying. Explain everything to me the whole time. I mean, over communicating. And there wasn't, I mean, I had to call people and be like, "Hey, can we get here? Can we do this? Can we do that?" So it was a little more legwork when we got there. And I will say, to be fair, it wasn't the guy we were dealing with for 11 months. I don't know if it would have been different. Maybe they were going through some changes and, some of that changed. But overall, it was good. I mean, the accommodations are great. Just
Yeah.
to let you guys know that, like, they have a 5-bedroom house available, which they had a 3-bedroom house available, which Blakely stayed in. And then they have these 4-bedroom cottages. So everybody wanted their own room. So we kind of put everybody in a bedroom. So we ended up adding an extra cottage, and those were over by the driving range. So everything is walkable. We basically, which was one of the criteria for Shelton and I, is like, we want to park and not move the entire weekend, besides Wes going to get pizza. Besides that, which actually the previous guy had offered to go get that for us. So I was kind of, he was going to do that for us for, I'm sure, a Venmo tip. But he was no longer there. But like, accommodations are great. The house was great. I don't know about the cottage. I'll let them talk about it. But I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better house with a better view overlooking kind of the first tee box and the hotel. It had everything we need, and it was a great place to hang out, watch the Masters. So overall experience, great. There are some things I think I said this last time we talked about it. It felt like at times they're getting bigger than they're not able to catch up with how popular they're getting. And that's a good thing for them. They just got to, once they catch up and kind of get everybody there, get full-time employees that are there at McLemore all the time, get a hospitality team going and get all that. It's going to be spectacular. It'll probably be triple what we paid, but it'll be spectacular.
Good problems to have, but they got to fix
absolutely.
those things, because if you don't fix those things, then you end up with problems of people having bad experiences, and then you get bad reviews or things like that. So
I would definitely give it great reviews. Let me be clear with that. I would give them a very, very good review. Sure. Those are little nitpick things that I'm talking about. Just to be clear.
Blakely, one of the things that I thought was interesting, I mean, they didn't have their carts ready on the keep, like they didn't have them available yet, so we ended up walking 36.
Yeah.
Like, were you, after doing it, like, yes, no, would you ever do it again? Is it something that you actually enjoyed? Was it something that, what were your thoughts on walking 36 through, Foothill Golf?
Well, I mean, I've walked a lot of holes before. I don't want to necessarily walk 36 at the keep again. If I did it again and they had, I would definitely get the caddy for the second round. Kind of to Mike's point, all those caddies were from a caddy service. I mean, we had somebody from East Lake, somebody from Valhalla. They all went home before we started the second round. So, unless you said you booked it out, a couple of weeks in advance, you had no option to even get one. It's a pretty course, so I didn't mind doing it. Obviously, I survived, but, I was, tired. I was sore afterwards. I prefer to, at least get the caddy in the second round. I feel like, though, with the way the course was, you could see some of the sod where they laid some of the seam lines. They're still trying to grow it in. I mean, you can't put carts out there. I know they didn't have the space for them, but you can't put it out there when you're trying to grow this grass in.
Wes, do you think they opened it early? Do you think that they could have maybe waited a little while to allow it grow in, or do you think it's just because of the harsh winter?
I personally think it was the harsh winter. I think if they had had the proper growing conditions, we wouldn't have really saw those seams. And I didn't, I like to walk 36 holes on that course. I would definitely, like Blakely said, I'm definitely doing a caddy both times. I would highly recommend anyone that's doing it, if they decide they're going to do their second 36 or second 18, walking, carry the damn bag, because those push carts were awful. Like, it was more work pushing those things around than it was worth. I ditched mine after the second hole by the bridge, so I was done with that. But that didn't take away from my experience walking it or anything like that. Before we move on, I do want to give a shout out to the pizza company. It's called Lookout Mountain Pizza Company. Spectacular. Like, and their service. I mean, what did we get? 18 or 20 pizzas or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I waited maybe 5 minutes when I got there, later than what they said they'd be ready for. You walked on in that place. They had a huge, brick fire oven right there. You could smell the fresh garlic and the fresh dough. That was a 9.8 out of 10 for the pizza and everything there. So
that was one of the big surprises of the weekend. That was a huge surprise at that pizza house. As soon as you open it up, I'm like, oh yeah.
well, we were scared because I mean, like, should I really order from this place? There's small pizzas. I'm like, I don't think we got an option. Let's just do it. And it's pizza, so we're drinking or tired. Pizza's good, but man, they knocked it out of the park.
Let me say
Yeah.
something real quick about that pizza thing, which I think is actually really funny, Jesse. Uh, me and Wes are playing alternate shot, and I had totally forgotten to order pizza. So I'm sitting there. We're on we're on the par four. I forget what it is, 11. And I get on the phone with a pizza person. Wes hits the shot, so I'm like chipping up. So I chip up and get on the phone with the lady, and I'm sitting there talking. So now Wes is now putting, and he's got like a 6 foot putt. And I'm like, all right, so I'm just talking to the lady. And I'm just sitting there watching him, and he putts this ball, and it goes like 4 or 5 feet past. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, can I just call you back? And she's like, I guess. I was like halfway into ordering it. Now I had to go over there and put it back in.
That's funny.
Just blew it by the cup. And I'm like asking Gary, I'm like, can you just give that to us? He's like, nope. I'm like, all right, I'll call you back later.
Did you make the putt?
Yeah, we were fine.
Yeah.
I was not expecting. I had my putter was somewhere else. I was just on the phone, just ordering pizzas.
Very cool. Before I get off the walking, I wanted to give a shout out to Shelton here. So Shelton either had the flu, COVID, something that he probably shouldn't have been around
Both.
19 other guys, but he was very sick. It was cart path only on Friday. It was walking 36 on Saturday, and then cart path only again. Pretty much, they said you could drive, but I didn't really see where you could drive very much on Sunday. So I'd say, if you did get a trophy for being a warrior, it wouldn't look like this, but you would have gotten one.
It was rough. I do apologize to everyone. Since Ralph isn't here, I'm going to put it on him. But everyone came back that week and they're looking to play matches, and they're like, oh, I'm under the weather. I can't play. I'm like, dude, y'all are playing 18 in a cart in Florida. I'm like, I had to walk 36 carrying for 18. Come on, guys.
So Shelton, I'll stick with you here. So we did this on the weekend of the Masters. This is the first time in a long time that you guys have done it, but I mean, we had 20 guys. What were your thoughts? Did you like doing that? Did you like kind of when we were done watching the Masters, or did you feel like it's something that you would have rather done it a different weekend so you could actually sit on the couch and watch the whole round of golf?
My vote moving forward would be to have it a separate weekend. I think Sunday worked out very well. I mean, we all got home, the leaders hadn't teed off yet, and it was obviously a great Sunday of golf. But overall, I mean, I think we do miss a lot of the Masters. Had it been let's just say a course you could take carts on, we would have probably had some iPads out watching it as we go, which I think would be different. But I'm all about having it a separate weekend because I think at some point in time we're going to lose people. I mean, someone has the opportunity to go to Saturday and Sunday at the Masters. I mean, I think very highly of Tin Cup. I probably would not go to that, but there may be some people. And so, I like having that whole weekend off for the Masters. I like having this Tin Cup week separate.
Yeah.
And here's something too that I didn't realize until afterwards about I'm in agreement with Sheldon. Away from the Masters is probably best, and here's why. One of my favorite things about Tin Cup is when you have 4 or 5 groups and everybody's coming in. There's people lined up on 18, waiting for these matches to come in. Everybody bolted to the bar and then to the house so they can go watch the Masters. And we pull up to 18. There's nobody there. I'm like, man, this is kind of depressing. So I do like that part of it that I didn't realize. I didn't even think about until we were there. Sunday was obviously awesome, but that was one part where I was like, man, I kind of missed that. I liked everybody just kind of waiting on these last groups coming in.
Right.
So we didn't do that this year, and I don't blame them. I mean, I would have done the same thing.
I think Altus bolted before after 9, didn't you?
Well, close.
Yeah.
It was close. It was really close.
Thanks to me and you, Jesse.
Yeah. I mean, Gels and I had a battle, and it was a master class in giving putts. I'll say that much. So
Nice.
but yeah, we're like, all right, let's get in when the leaders go. But yeah, it was still fun, like having all the guys there on Sunday. But I my vote is still not to do it Masters week.
Right. What do you think, Blakely?
I mean, I'd go either way. I could see don't do it Masters week for the reasons that you guys mentioned, but I think Sunday when we got in, getting to watch with everybody, it's it's easier. Otherwise, my text thread would be blowing up about all the putts or the shots that were happening. I could just talk to you guys. So, I mean, I really did enjoy Sunday. It would have been cool if we could have finished up with everybody on 18 and that kind of thing. But in order to do that, we got to keep it close, and we failed to do so. So
we may want to retire this whole Tin Cup thing on the Masters because we're 2 for 2 here. Well, first one, Blakely and Shelton were there, was Tiger's 2019 win. And the second one was Rory's career Grand Slam. I think that's just retiring those two. I mean, that's that's 2 great Masters to sit there and watch together.
Yeah. No doubt. So, this whole thing we've done it as, I mean, it's really been a really, and you said it early in this whole podcast, Blakely, but I mean, this has been, a really cool way to reconnect with old friends, great way to meet new friends. I mean, I feel like it's half a dozen of one, half a dozen of the other. Given that, do you feel like this whole, like McLemore for a buddies trip, would you recommend it to other people, Chris?
Yeah, I would. I actually, so I was just talking to a buddy at work, and he's going on Friday. I was like, look, you guys have a great time. The houses are right there. There's some restaurants that are good. You're in the middle of nowhere, so you're going to play golf and you're going to hang out. Like I said, the conditions might not have been ideal when we went. If you schedule it during a time that they're great, you're going to have even better playing conditions. You're going to have even better time. But I totally would recommend it.
No doubt. Sheldon, what about you?
I just texted Jesse, so I think it was a good switch there. Good job, producer. I think it was a
great.
It
up, so.
No, it was a very good. No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It was a very good course. I would highly recommend it. I look at courses in 2 different ways. I look at like a buddies trip for golf, like if when you're going out to Bandon, you're walking 4 holes in 5 days, or is this something a little friendly competition, Ryder Cup style? And I'm starting to see those as 2 different things. I mean, if all of you are 0 handicaps, go wherever the heck you want to go. If you range from a 0 to a 25, then I have different views on what I want to do with that course. And a lot of it has to do with lodging, again, hanging out with people, obviously nice courses. We've talked about some of the courses we played previously, but I'm starting to kind of see a little divide in what is we're going there just to play golf versus we're going there to hang out, enjoy the time with each other. We've talked about, in the future, some bigger trips, maybe families involved, things like that. I do think I will go back to McLemore at some point in time. Do I necessarily think it's a 10 cup trip? No, I don't think walking that many holes is necessarily best for our group, but I will 100% recommend McLemore, and I will 100% recommend the place we're going to next year.
Right. What do you think, Wes?
That was really well said. I would definitely recommend going, as a casual trip to McLemore 100%. But as far as doing what we were doing at Tin Cup, I probably would stay away from it. But at the same time, if you got the opportunity to go, you still have to see it. I mean, you're not going to see those views in many places at all, especially if you're in Florida or anywhere that's flat. So I would definitely recommend it, but not for what we do.
Right. Mike?
Yep, 100%. I agree with him. There's definitely been, and we've talked about it, a difference between a buddies trip and a 20-man Ryder Cup style tournament with you when you've got 2s to 20s on handicaps. I would 100% recommend it for a buddies trip. I mean, you get 4-day guys, you get one of those little lodges or the cabins. It's perfect. You got everything you need right there. Shuttle over to the keep if you need to, but when you got that many guys, it makes it a little difficult. And then like we look at Tin Cup a little different too. We love as many people as we can in as minimal structures, 1 house, 2 houses, and they're just not built for that there. So that's that's our personal criteria. It doesn't mean other wouldn't like the way it was set up, but 100% for a buddy trip and for a golf trip and play the courses. You got to play the Highlands at least once, just so you can learn how to putt. But besides that,
or forget how to putt.
Yeah. I mean, I will say Wes was going to say that earlier, and now that I mentioned it, it is one of the toughest putting courses I've ever done. It's baffling. You clearly see somebody standing a foot or 2 above you behind the hole, and you're like, this is going uphill, and it is straight downhill, and it makes no sense. It's wizardry.
It's where
The only reason I was able,
is.
the only reason I was able to putt well was because we were doing a scramble on Friday, and Ralph, poor guy, was putting first every time. He was the guinea pig the entire time. We thought it was left to right and uphill. It was downhill and right to left. And I was able to actually putt well because I was doing the exact opposite of what Ralph was doing every single time. And it was stunning. I have no idea how the hell that place does that. So luckily they have the carts and they have the little screens on the cart with the map of the hole and where the arrows pointing in the different elevations. But whew, that was tough.
Yeah.
So
So
Newton laws of physics.
Yeah.
I would say I don't think I could say anything more than what you guys did. I agree with everything that was said. I think that it was a really cool venue. I'm very glad we went. But to your point, I think that there's, for the competition of it, for different handicaps and for everything, I think there's better venues to actually compete on when you have such a wide array of skill levels or handicap levels, however you want to say it. Before we wrap up, I did want to give you an opportunity to talk about, it's one of the things that you do every year, Padron, is you provide, you always make sure that we have really cool apparel or something fun like that you kind of go back with. And one of the apparel companies that you utilized this year was a group of guys that we've known for a long time out of Jacksonville, Florida. Give them a shout out if you would.
Yeah, I reached out I played high school baseball with a guy named Scott Toole, and he is part owner of a company called Live Forever Golf, LFG. And Shelton and I have been talking about it for a few years now of reaching out to them and seeing what we can do. So actually I'm wearing it right now. It's one of their hoodies, and they gave it to us and they put our logo on the sleeve. They made some blue ones for Team USA, these green ones for us. And this is one of the best hoodies I've ever worn. It's absolutely amazing. So moving forward, we've talked about using them for our apparel, and they've actually offered to be like, look, we'll actually, from head to toe, we'll outfit you for one of the days if you want. And I would absolutely love that. And kind of use them. I mean, it's a local company. You're supporting somebody local. You're not, obviously there's great apparel companies all over the country, but somebody here that we actually know some of the owners, and I've gone into their office and I tried clothes on, and they were accommodating and absolutely great apparel, and they've been great with us, and I look forward to kind of using them moving forward for sure for Tin Cup.
Very cool. Very cool. Anybody got anything to say before we wrap this up?
No, I
Looking
think,
forward to next year.
yeah.
It was a great Tin Cup.
It was. I agree. Looking forward to next year and, bringing home number 5.
Yeah, I just don't want to lose next year.
We can't say, Jesse, we are going to Reunion next year, back to Reunion. This will be our first return trip to any resort we've done.
Where's my helmet?
Yeah. That's a story for another day, but
Where's the drone's wall repair kit?
I will be bringing a wall repair kit for sure. So
right,
allegedly
boys.
there was a wall that needed to be repaired.
On that note, I will catch you guys down the road. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right,
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, gentlemen.